Welcome to Core Cutting This Week, number 7, the show where I give you my personal opinion on the week's biggest stories. Unlike CoreCuttersNews.com, where every day we're breaking the news, talking about the news, this time I get an opportunity to talk about my opinions on some of the biggest core cutting stories. And this week is full of a ton of big stories. A ton of important, impactful things in the world of core cutting has happened. Of course, we know Disney's buying Fox. FCC repeals net neutrality. T-Mobile is looking at launching a live TV streaming, or at least a live TV service. So let's kind of dive in here, give you my opinions on these stories and a few more, and hopefully kind of touch on some of what I think is going to be most impactful to the world of cord cutting going forward. First up is Amazon and Google are at it again. So Google announced that they are pulling YouTube effective immediately from the Amazon Echo Show. And on January 1st, the Fire TV will lose YouTube access, at least from the official YouTube store, or app, I should say. Now, today, December 15th, it was reported that Amazon and Google are in talks for, quote, productive discussions and for an arrangement for the benefit of our mutual customers, according to a Google spokeswoman, or person, excuse me, who talked with The Verge. So what does this mean? Well, Google and Amazon have been fighting for a while. Amazon uses Android for the Fire TV. It's a forked version. I don't think Google's ever been particularly happy with what Amazon's doing with it. There's been some issues with Amazon creating a specific altered version of different apps, Amazon creating the YouTube app and Google not being happy with it. So Google is pulling their apps. Amazon's making some olive branches. They're putting the Chromecast back in the Amazon store as kind of an olive branch. Please work with us. And it looks like some talks will happen here. I would be honestly surprised if YouTube on January 1st is actually pulled. This seems like something that both companies want to work out, that both companies have some things that they need to talk through, but that it's something that they want to address. How that will happen, what that will look like going forward, we'll have to wait and see. But if it does happen, I got a feeling this is going to be one of those things that's short-lived, and I will be honestly surprised if it does happen at all. So let's keep moving. The good news is they're working on it. The bad news is the deal's not done. It could still leave the Fire TV. Next up, the story that everybody can't get enough of talking about. The FCC has repealed net neutrality. I know a lot of people are like, well, it's not really net neutrality, this and that, but that's why everybody commonly understands it. FCC is returning the internet to the way it was managed before January 2015. So a little over 2 years ago, it returns from a Title II to a Title I service here. Now, what I really want to talk about here is very simple. The world is not coming to an end. Two things. Cord cutting existed before net neutrality. Cord cutting will exist after net neutrality. There are a lot of doom and gloom stories out there. And you know my thought on doom and gloom stories. People write doom and gloom stories because it gets a lot of views. So with all things in life, here's my recommendation, and it applies greatly to net neutrality. You got people over here that are going to say, the world is coming to an end, you will die tomorrow, nothing will ever be the same. And you got people on this side that says, nothing to fear, nothing's going to change. What's the truth? Probably somewhere in the middle. If anything, I have a feeling it's a little slightly to the world is not coming to an end side. Unfortunately, this is one of those topics that's become such a hot topic that it's very difficult to have a honest discussion about this. The truth is, I don't think this is going to be life-ending. I always laugh. I've been seeing some stories out there that says, oh, net neutrality is over. You might as well go get cable TV right now because, you know, the world is over. A few things. If you want to have net neutrality, first of all, the thing to do is to write your senator or write your congressman. In old-fashioned pen and paper, send a letter. Physical letters are much harder for them to ignore. Number two, give them a phone call. Be very polite. Do not be rude. That does not help anything. And let them know. Net neutrality is not a bad concept. It's probably something that should be done by a law, not by an unelected regulatory board creating a regulation that really has no long-term impact, no long-term rules or anything with it. So keep that in mind, that it is what it is. Lastly, take a step back from the cliff. Life is not over. Just remember that. Life is not over. It's not the end of the world. So those are the 3 things I wanted to tell you. Cord cutting is not going away. I'm going to do everything I can to keep you informed on what you need to know about this without trying to delve into the doom and gloom, the world is over kind of talk. So let's jump into the next story. Disney is buying Fox. Now, this has been rumored for quite some time. It's a $52 billion deal, and it gives Disney 60% of Hulu. And I think the biggest thing here for Core Cars is that 60% control of Hulu for Disney. A few things right off the bat. This includes 20th Century Fox. Didn't they change that name to 21st Century Fox? I'm not sure. So, which is the movie and TV production studio. So Family Guy, The Simpsons, the original Star Wars, all that are all owned by Disney now. It includes the 22 Fox Sports regional ones, so Fox Sports Detroit, Fox Sports Midwest, etc. It includes the FX and the Nat Geo channel, which I believe includes also the FX, the FX movie, etc. channels. The Fox portfolio of international operations, including the pay TV service in India, along with Fox's 30% control of Hulu, which added to Disney's 30% control gives Disney 60% of Hulu. This deal does not include the Fox broadcast TV network, so your local Fox affiliate, that's still owned by the Murdoch family. Fox News, Fox Business, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, the newspapers owned by Fox, the Wall Street Journal, New York Post, Times in London, a bunch of Australian companies, and the News Corp parent companies. So that's the general breakdown here. A few things to remember. Like the Time Warner AT&T deal, this needs a lot of regulatory approvals. It may result in the government asking Disney and Fox to sell off some stuff in order to approve the whole of the deal. What that'll look like, I don't know. I am a little interested to see that they sold the regional sports networks that wasn't rumored to be part of the original offers. Also, I think that may be the biggest red flag in this deal because that'll give ESPN a pretty dominant control in the sports networks out there and a dominant control of regional sports. So we'll see what happens. But the Hulu is the most interesting thing. A lot of contracts. Fox has already pulled most of their shows from Netflix, put them on Hulu. So I don't think a lot will change here, but I think we'll have to watch Hulu very closely and see what happens there. So again, I don't think anything dastardly is going to happen here. Fox, it's going to take a while for this to close. It's going to take a while for current contracts. We're probably looking 2-3 years before anything would change here. And by all accounts, Disney's becoming one of the more cord-cutting friendly companies out there. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Next up, T-Mobile is announcing they want to launch a disruptive, I put disruptive in quotes, their words, TV service. So very little is known about this other than T-Mobile says they're planning to disrupt the pay TV market. It'll be interesting to see what they can do here because both Amazon and Apple have tried to do this and failed miserably. Basically, the content owners told Amazon and Apple, go pound sand. We don't want to work with you. It'll be interesting to see if T-Mobile is successful in that. Now they're buying Layer 3, which is a kind of a regional TV company that promotes itself as a new high-end one. Pricing is more like cable, less like a skinny bundle. So it'll be interesting to see what T-Mobile does with this. But urge caution here. A lot of companies have tried to disrupt traditional pay TV and been told to pound sand. So I'm interested to see what T-Mobile can do. Really, it's something to watch for in 2018. All right, next up is a quick one. Fewer Americans are buying movies and renting movies. Effectively, according to a survey by TiVo, of 3,000 Americans, every Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Redbox all saw a drop in movie rentals and purchases. According to the study, Americans are becoming very comfortable with the idea of Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, where they pay a flat monthly fee and they get access to their movies. And that seems to be changing the way people are viewing movies. It's kind of interesting. Question of the day, I'd love to hear from you. When's the last time you bought a movie? I only bought a couple movies, 2 movies itself for myself this year, a couple for my kids, and rented them, mostly for plane trips and stuff. Be interesting. Is this true for you? Have you noticed a decrease in number of movies, rentals, and buying? I sure have over 10 years ago. So let me know. Last up is the deal of the day. The Fire TV, as of today, is the 3rd generation with 4K HDR is only $54.99 I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Don't miss out. Limited time deal. Great stocking stuffer for a cord cutter out there. I think there's some Roku deals too, but don't miss out. Hey, if you like this show, please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. Every week we do our best to give you a look at the biggest stories and my opinions on them in the world of cord cutting. Questions, comments, let me know, and I'll do my best to help you. Otherwise, join us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube for our weekly cord cutting Q&A. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.